That Terry Gilliam movie wasn't about this track, was it? Interlagos. Last time we were here, it took me a while to get my head around the track, but I felt like I had made progress towards knowing it decently. This week, there's similar. Our iRating did not fare well. We went from a 1285 down to an 1171. Up until the last day, we were going up, and it was like a 1350 or something like that. But our last day of racing was somewhat treacherous, and we got knocked out a bunch. Our safety rating took a hit as well. We were an A 3.66 going into the week, and it got knocked down to an A 2.21. Again, some bad times did not help us out there. It went up in the middle at a certain point, but yeah, back down. So, you know, you take your lumps, I guess. As far as our times went at Interlagos this week, started out with a 1:39.534 is my best lap on our first race. I can't remember if that had any damage. I don't think so, because slower laps would be around that time. Was able to bring that down to a 1:36.994 in practice and a 1:36.802 in a race. 1:37s were kind of where I was sitting with good lap times for the week. I'd be happy with 1:38s and 37s for where I was in the splits. A lot of times towards the beginning of the week, the races didn't split, so it was the ginormous skill spread splits where you'd have 6K iRating all the way down to 600, which is always kind of treacherous and weird. I don't care so much for those splits sometimes, but sometimes it just makes me push that much harder. It's kind of, I'm not sure how that reflects on my psychology. Forcing yourself to push to get towards the times of the people when it's you've got the crazy fast people that you've got to go up against is good, but it also helps when you can be competitive with the people that are in the race with you. There's good points and bad points about both when the race is split and when it hasn't. I think we've talked about this before, so it's one of those things. It's each has their moments, and you just have to make the best of whatever situation you end up finding yourself in. That's kind of how life works, I guess. As far as how our standings went through the week, in the fixed series, we placed 103rd for the week, which drops us down to 16th overall. And then in the open series, Division 5, again, in both of these, we placed 65th for the week, and that puts us at 14th overall. We did take the bye week for Red Bull Ring last week, so we'll see how this all pans out. Interlagos is one of those tracks last season that I really struggled kind of getting my head around, but I did eventually get comfortable with it. At least comfortable enough to be competitive or feel competitive in my splits that I was in. This week panned out pretty similarly. At the beginning, I felt kind of lost again due to those massive skill range splits. I was pretty much in the middle of those. But once it did end up starting to split and we'd be placed with people who were quote-unquote closer to our skill level via the iRating system, I felt much more able to compete and have some closer races with the folks around me when I wasn't crashed out of the race right at the beginning. But yeah, it took a few days to get my head wrapped back around it, which sometimes is the case with these tracks that I don't run all that often, but I have at least some experience with. So I'm happy that I was able to kind of get up to speed a little more quickly than I do on some of the on tracks that I have absolutely no experience with. So that's a plus, and it means that I'm at least learning something. I'm still not able to set the world on fire. Those 136s were very hard won and not very frequent. And the fast folks were doing like 34s, so still have a long way to go. One thing that always is pretty difficult about Interlagos is that the track temperatures end up being very hot, so there's not a ton of grip to be had anywhere. I think I handled it okay, but only okay. So, yeah, the only unfortunate thing, or probably the most unfortunate thing for me about the week, was I was very, very excited for the last day of racing that I was going to do, and hoping to get some competitive racing in, not necessarily any wins or anything like that, but just some races that I would be competitive at, and just to be, you know, crashed into in the first couple corners on all those races just kind of soured my mood a little bit. And you know, my apologies to anybody who was watching at the time, and it was unfortunate, and it's just kind of one of those things that happens with racing. And you know, tried to move on and do the next one, and something similar happened the next time. It's sometimes it's difficult to learn those lessons that need to be learned from those situations, and one of them is, you know, just keep your head up and move forward, which I'm usually pretty good at, but sometimes I struggle with. And another one is just to remember the treacherous spots of the track where accidents tend to happen. Keep your head on the swivel around those points, and try and stay away from the dangerous folks. It's sometimes hard to spot who those are going to be in the first couple corners, but yeah, that's maybe a lesson that we forgot that day, and we need to keep front of mind going forward. So with that in mind, hopefully next week at Spa we'll know from some past experience where the tough corners are, where the mistakes happen, and where people tend to crash early on in the race so that we can maybe avoid them. Just right now I can think of a few spots that are kind of dangerous, and turn one does happen to be one of them. And yeah, we'll keep going, we'll keep trucking forward, and oh yeah, next week is at Spa, so join us for that upcoming Spa day. Woo. And also the camel races that we do are also going to be at that track, so it'll be nice staying on the same track at least. Last week was at Mosport, and I had never done it before, and it was a cool track, but I didn't really know it. Anyhow, head on over to twitch.tv/thepiltdownman to watch us live. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button. It really helps out. Thumbs up if you did like it, and thumbs down if you didn't. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.